Hello, and welcome to the TrailManners podcast. I'm your host, Eric Manning, coming to you from the beautiful trails in Ogden, Utah, but connecting you to wherever trail, ultra, and mountain running takes us. We'll bring trail running to life with amazing athletes, discuss the latest topics, epic journeys, and get you stoked for your next trail adventure. We're sharing the moments that make life special, because even a rough day on the trail beats a good day indoors, and nothing beats time spent with good friends and great stories. Catch us here weekly for your dose of dirt, vert, and good vibes. So now it's time to top off your water, grab some cheese curds, and join us for this week's podcast, where we take you deep into the heart of our sport. It's go time. Well, hello. This is Eric Manning. I'm the host of the TrailManners podcast. This is episode number 317. Oh boy. So this launches on March 24th, 2023. And as we mentioned, I believe in episode 316 with Kirk Probasco, this is kind of our 8th year. And I know last year we only had a few come out and some transition, but we did start in 2015. So it's been a while, myself and Joel Hatch. So yeah, we're excited to get going. So I hope some of you had the opportunity to listen to our previous episode, number 316 with Kirk Probasco, as he takes on his first 50-mile trail race. He starts that today, the day this thing's launched, and we want to wish him luck. And I know if you listen to the podcast, you know, I went back and listened to it again, and you know, showing vulnerability to people that you don't know or know who's listening is pretty inspiring. You know, we kind of pull down that mask, if you will, and let people in. And Kirk's story is so incredible. And I know we didn't do a deep dive into some of the stuff, and we didn't want to gloss over anything. And we can touch on that more when we bring him back on for part 2. But, you know, that's kind of why we want to do the podcast, you know, is tell the stories, connect with people out there. And I can't thank Kirk enough for taking the time to join us on the first one, and we're looking forward to hearing how well he does on the 50-miler on the island. So, as most of you know, we've been around a while. This is episode 317, so quite a few podcasts under our belt over the years. One of the things we like to do here is do a beer of the week. So, and if you know me, if you know the show, it's pretty IPA heavy, and that's just the way it is, right? But because of this weather we're having, continual snow into March and, you know, not knowing what is going on, I'm going to throw some good mojo out into the universe here. So one of the drinks I enjoy, one of the beers I enjoy, especially during warmer weather, okay? Epic Brewing Company out of Denver, Los Locos Mexican-style lager, lime and sea salt. This is like cheat code. You just pop it, and you've got all the flavors in one. In the summertime, after a long run, sitting in a river, after yard work, whatever it might be, this is fabulous. It's very good on the palate, and it's light, but it's a great summer one. So I'm throwing that out in the universe. I'm bringing in a summer choice for the beer of the week, and I happen to have one now, surprise, to kind of, you know, throw that out there so we can turn the tide, get some good weather. And I know soon we're going to be saying, oh my God, it's so hot. But as of right now, we're not. So there's that. But I'm always looking for beer suggestions here on the show. We love to review those. And again, we're IPA heavy. Just throwing that out there. But I know what you're thinking. Wow, here we go again, right, with the TrailManners podcast. But I'll tell you what, I'm so excited right now. I can't remember the last time I've been this excited. There's been so much that's happened, obviously, over the last year, 2 years. But I'm super excited about what we're going to do. But I want to thank some people first. There's some people that have really helped me kind of just say, as the saying here goes, now go get it, right? I've been tossing this around for months and months and months. It's something I've always loved, something I've always enjoyed, but it does take time. And, you know, hopefully I can say this and with some level of confidence, but if it's not something you enjoy, I don't know why we do those things, right? There's got to be that level of enjoyment. because I think it shows when you're doing it. And I know for me, I want this to be just a fun place, this podcast. And we had such an amazing community. Now, listen, we've never been and never will be the most downloaded trail running podcast, but we have such a great community. And I hope that shows how much we enjoy it on this side. So that's one of them. So, first, I absolutely want to thank my wife, Sarah. She's been encouraging me for a long time, and she actually kind of threw it at me and said, "Hey, you going to do this or not? Quit talking about it." And she's right. It's been months of different equipment and trying to figure out the approach because, and I hate bringing the C word up, but COVID, everybody kind of went away from being in person, and this show's been all about connecting. And we will, as we move forward, absolutely have remote shows via different platforms where we're not sitting across from each other. But that was a big hit for me. I love the personal connection. I love being there, reading the face of people on the podcast. As of the Kirk Probasco, the last episode, you can't see his emotion where you are, maybe. But I can, and it really helps that connection and hopefully brings out a better show. And we're looking at throwing some on YouTube with some video stuff. I've got a face for microphones and radio and not for YouTube. But we'll jump into that realm once we get the gears going and the engines going. But I also want to thank a lot of people, and I'm going to miss people, and I understand that. I mean, my kids, obviously, who are older now. If you've listened to the podcast, my youngest 18, and my other one's 25. So I'm not a spring chicken anymore. But again, since the podcast launched, the first one a couple days ago, I've had people reach out, and I want. And if you've listened to the podcast, I'm kind of that feelings guy, right? Like I have no problem having my feelings on the end of my sleeve, right? That's just who I am. Never going to change. Always going to be that guy. But the messages, whether it's through the social media channels, whether it's a text message, in person, can't tell you how much they mean, how far they go. And as I read some of these names, and I'm going to miss people, I know that, but Preston and Grant, congratulations on your newborn, Grant. He's just fun to be with. Harrison, my sister. We launched the first show on my anniversary birthday of my mother, who we dearly miss. Sarah O, you know who you are. Missy, and then Simon from Down Under. Tim, Heidi. I mean, there's so many people that reached out, encouraging and saying, "Hey, it's great to hear you back," and that means a lot. And I want to say thank you so much for taking just a little bit of time to send those messages along, because I look at some of the names that pop up, and although some of us have never met in person, it's been a long journey of knowing and connecting, and the support that you've given this show and this podcast has been fantastic. So I want to thank you for that. But we will flip the norms a little bit now moving forward. So as you know, as we did the podcast in the past, we kind of did 2 shows a week for years, 4 or 5 years straight. We'd come out Tuesday with an interview, and Thursday was our single track session. That's difficult with things going on. This is not my full-time job. We get $0 through this podcast. So we're gonna flip the script a little bit. So we will do hopefully multiple podcasts here and there a week, and lengths will vary. We've always been around the certain mark, but we might have some that come out that are 15, 20 minutes just to touch base, see what's going on. Frequency is going to change. So this is why I want to encourage everybody to subscribe to the podcast, because it's going to get nutty. You don't know when we're going to launch, so it's not going to be, okay, Tuesday morning, here comes TrailManners. Okay, Thursday morning, here comes TrailManners. We're going to chuck some stuff at you. So don't forget to subscribe to fill that. But the energy has just been incredible, asking about the podcast, the positivity. I've loved doing this, and I've truly missed it. So to sit here and act like there's not a lot of personal satisfaction, or maybe I'm greedy. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe I'm the one that wants to do this more than people want to listen to it. But that's fine, because I want to build this community back as what we had, because it was such a great, positive, inspiring community. And we do know, this podcast is not for everybody, and that's okay. We get that, right? We're not for everybody. There's some amazing ones out there, and there's more than ever now, right? I know they're out there. I know a lot of the people that are doing them personally. Some I don't. But yeah, we're just going to fit our niche, if you will. And we're going to have some fun. There's going to be some entertainment. We're going to meet amazing people. We're going to hear great stories. Hopefully we can connect and inspire on some level with the guests, and we might learn something along the way. You never know. But we're going to do it together. We're going to celebrate trail running. We're going to celebrate each other, and that's where we need to do more of. I don't care if it's your first 5K or a 100-miler or whatever it is. We will celebrate trail running, and we're going to celebrate people because there's just too much craziness. And this is partly why the podcast went away for a little while. There's so much craziness of negativity and pushiness. That's not even a word, but I'm not going to edit that out. But it's just we're in a weird place, right? Like, however you like social medias and the TikToks and the Snapchats and the Twitters and the MySpaces, you still use that too. But we want to bring some joy, right? Because we know there's not one right way to do anything. There might be better ways, right? But how about your way, right? It's okay to be you and do you. Trail running, there's not a script. There's books and there's suggestions, but there's not one way to do anything, not one shoe for everybody, not one nutrition plan for everybody, not one training plan for everybody. So we're going to celebrate you. Be you. There's more than one way to do something. Do what makes you happy. And I'm not saying there's not room for growth. I'm not saying that you shouldn't listen or pay attention, because I think you find your own way and you tweak what works best for you. But I think there's just a lot of pressure. When I talk to my daughter, she's 18. I mean, there's a lot of pressure. She's about ready to graduate high school, and there's a lot of pressure for them, right? To figure out, okay, what's my career going to be? What am I going to school for? And I'm like, baby, you're 18. Your pop's not, and he still doesn't know what he wants to do with his life. So I just want to have us here a safe space, get rid of all the ugliness, get rid of all the chatter, and understand that it's okay to be you and do it your way. And it may not be someone else's way, but do what makes you happy, and that's what we're going to do, right? So what we're going to do here is celebrate that. So we're going to have great guests on. We'll definitely have those, we've had them in the past, quote unquote, elite ones that make the rounds through the shows, and you're always seeing on, magazines and all the social channels. But we're also going to tell stories. A great example is Kirk. Not many people probably know Kirk, but he's got such an amazing story. And we'd love to do podcasts with people that are taking on that next challenge. A 50-mile or a 100-miler. Before and afters are fantastic. Maybe we can inspire people along the way, but it's all about the story. And sometimes you're going to have people on here that are going to be vulnerable. We've got a great lineup coming out for you. We've been working on that behind the scenes. So we've got a fantastic lineup. But, if you know stories, you have a story, reach out to me. Manners@TrailManners.com. Pretty easy. We can't get everybody on, right? Because, we'll try. But, if you have a story, someone with a story that's comfortable sharing it, let's get them on. Let's have some fun. Let's have some conversations, and hopefully you're enjoying that. So what has Trail Manners been doing? Well, I've been working. So as many of you know, I'm an executive director at a nonprofit here in the Ogden area, Utah, Trails Foundation in Northern Utah. Very proud of this. Been doing it for about 4 years now, so it's taken a lot of time. And that's partly why the podcast faded just a little bit. I'm not running nearly enough. I'm definitely getting older. I've been coaching soccer, traveling a lot for that. I launched a trail event here in this area with another organization, the Goal Foundation for fundraising, which is mountain biking and running, called the Northern Utah Trail Fest. I've done the Kalalau Trail in Kauai. And if you didn't catch it at first or follow, I got married. Yeah, I'm happily married, luckily married to the woman of my dreams. We got married at the end of last year, so super excited about that. I inherited some amazing in-laws, incredible people, warm, welcoming, and not everybody can say that about their in-laws, but I feel pretty lucky. My wife and I just took over a trail event called the Wildflower Outdoor Event. It's it's been going on for quite a while, and we were asked if we wanted to take it over. It's a women's only event. There's a mountain bike race and a trail run race in July, and there's a road bike race in August. So added that to the portfolio. So that's kind of been what's going on. Obviously hanging out with my kids, and y'all remember Gunner. He's still kicking and thriving. Just got a new haircut, so he looks pretty sassy. But yeah, 2023, what's that hold? Well, I hired a running coach. First time I've ever done that. Started in December, had a fantastic month. And then, of course, being old and, not a runner, if you will, I got some nagging injuries, so it kind of changed my plan a little bit for 2023. So there's some unfortunate things that have happened with races and lotteries. So I'm super bummed. There's 2 races I was looking forward to more than anything, and I'm not able to do those. Won't be racing until later in the year. Maybe a May race. Had one for sure that I've been locked into and trying to lick my wounds on that, because that one, I'm not going to say which one it was, but it hurts really bad that I'm not going to be there in May for this 50 miler in Wisconsin that I got into, because there's a lot of cheese there. But we will be back next year. We have to be back next year. But I'll have something in June. May, heading back to Quiet. We got a permit for the Kalalau Trail, and if you've never done that, folks, I absolutely highly recommend that. It's just gorgeous, and it's memorably breathtaking to where we're going to go do it again. We'll do something in June, race-wise, maybe Logan Peak, maybe Sinks Canyon 50 in Lander with our friend Gabe Joyce, who we got to spend some time with. And you know me, I'm a glutton for punishment, and I'm heading back in July for the Beaverhead 100K. This one's got me a little bit. I've done the 55K, haven't had success at the 100K. My wife had to go and crush that last year as I watched, but I head back to Beaverhead August time frame. I'm waitlisted with El Vaquero Loco, probably my favorite all-time race. But maybe we'll throw in a Harriman race. Been looking at the Telluride Mountain Run, the Tour de Flagstaff. Check that one out. I think it's its first year. That looks pretty incredible. We spent some time down in Sedona, and I've obviously been in Flagstaff, but check that one out if you're not on there. The Bear 100 in September. I know it's coming up again. It came out of my mouth, but if it's going to happen this year. Definitely an A race. That's the goal overall. I'm going to head up to the Trail Running Conference in October, U.S. Trail Running Conference. It's going to be in state of Washington, so I'm going to check that out, and then head down to the Grand Canyon in November to do the rim to rim to rim run and walk and suffer down there. But a full year, a lot of fun, and we'll talk about these along the way and follow them along the way. And that's why we might have some shorter podcasts, maybe do some before and after stuff on that side. But if there's anything new out there, I'm always looking for new stuff too. So if you got some races you recommend, events, maybe they're just adventure runs. I've been doing a lot of those in the last couple of years, some crazy fun adventure runs. So I'm always looking for ideas. Send those over here. Let's check those out. On the gear front, oh my gosh, does gear not change all the time? I've got some new gear, and I'm not going to talk too much about it because since we missed our Christmas gift guide, I'm trying to talk a certain guest that you may remember, but I'm not going to mention names, to come back on the show to do a gear guide review with me. We will both do, like the women's side and the men's side, so do some gear reviews. So if you got any recommendations there, shoot them our way. But that's going to be a lot of fun. But my gear selection has definitely changed a bit. We've got some solid ones that have been there for a long time, but there's some new up-and-comings and some things that have been around that have kind of fit within my list, I guess. So we'll be having a lot of talk about gear as well. Hopefully do some gear testing when stuff kind of hits the market. And again, we're not trying to reinvent the wheel. We have our own style. We have our own way of doing things, and we're just going to continue to do that. And that's the beauty of it. But we will have that pretty soon. The TrailManners, just like anything, we've got our social channels, which will be more active, especially on the Instagram at TrailManners. We do have our Facebook page, TrailManners. And then we also have a community, TrailManners community page. And we put this in place. And, what we really want to do here is just have a safe space for people to ask questions, right? Not necessarily to me, but more of, hey, I'm looking at this shoe or this nutrition, or I'm looking at this race, or hey, can anybody give me advice with this injury, or just stuff like that. Just a safe place where this community can come together and just have some friendly banter without worrying about the quote unquote trolls and negativity. And there's a lot of questions, and I know some people are scared to ask those. And again, it doesn't come down just to what I think or what I say, but there's already a great community within that. So check that out. It's the TrailManners community page. Get you added to that. We're also going to we've been doing it, but we do have the hats. We got the Woody Footies. If you're not familiar with that, it is a Facebook thing, so I apologize, but that's the easiest way to track it. Where did your feet take you? Starting in April, again, we're going to be picking a winner once a week and sending out hats, and some have received those throughout the first part of the year. So we want to get a lot of people that. So share that with friends. We're going to post those pictures, get a free Woody Footy hat. You can't buy them. They're actually pretty cool, and it's free. I ship them to you for free. I mean, all you got to do is post a photo. You do that anyway, right? So let's have some fun. And it's just a way of saying, where did you go? That way I can sit here, especially when it's snowing outside, and be jealous of all the places that people go and all the fun adventures they go on. But it opens a door, and it's fun for the community. We're also looking to revamp our website a little bit, trailmanners.com. I'm not a web guy, but we're looking to revamp that just a little bit because we will be having, and I really hope we can get moving, we have some swag, right? So we've got some new hats, some new shirts. We have some beanies that we've had historically, but we will add those to the website hopefully soon. And that helps support the show, right? Like, we don't do this for, have any sponsors and stuff, and we kind of keep it authentic in a way. Not saying we would never. No, I'm not going to say that. So if you're out there and you want to support the show, I'm for it. But, just like swag, donations, just things like that. And I'll tell you, I love to see TrailManners swag in the wild, whether it's a hat, a shirt, a buff, a beanie, a hoodie. We've got some stuff out there, stickers, whatever it is. So we love to see that out there. And going along with that, something that we've kicked off and we've had some great people participate in is the TrailManners flag. So we have flags here that we printed, and they're like 2x3, so they fold up real nice. And we just want people to say, hey, mail me the flag. I got this cool adventure. I got this cool place I'm going, or this race. Take a picture with the flag there. But here's the catch. I want you to sign it with Sharpie, your name and location, and hopefully mail it back to me. It's an honor system. I mean, if you keep it, I can't chase you down, but I have your address. But yeah, I want to see, it's kind of fun just to see where these flags go. We've had some people participate. We got Andrew in Canada. He's actually, I think, the first one to sign it and everything. We've had a few gone out that were not signed. I know some people didn't feel comfortable. Like, I'm going to ruin it. No, you're not. We can order more. But I want to get this flags loaded up with signatures and see where it goes. And there is a little, obviously, an expense. We'll ship it, but we're asking and hoping that maybe you'd ship it back to us on your dime. But anyway, email us, manners@trailmanners.com. I want to get those flags in some cool spots, and I think that'd be fun. We're also going to continue with our Ask TrailManners segment. We're going to do that, but we're going to also throw that on Instagram, because I know a lot of people don't just do Facebook. Instagram's more of a thing. But once a week, we will just say, hey, Ask TrailManners. Do you have a question about something? Ask us. Doesn't matter what it is, and if we don't have the answer, we'll try and find you something. But it's been pretty fun over the years, the Ask TrailManners segment, and we will review those. So that's kind of the rundown. That's kind of the rundown of where we're at, what we're doing, what it looks like. I cannot stress enough how much excitement I have to relaunch the show, and I hope you can hear that in my voice, and I hope you can hear that during each podcast we do. But I do just ask if you wouldn't mind to subscribe to the show, review the show. That obviously helps a little bit, but also share it with friends. I know there's a lot of people out. Okay, let me take that back. That sounds bad. I know there's people. I'm not going to say a lot. I know there's people out there that have listened to our podcast historically, and if you want to share it with your friends, let's get a new group of people coming in as well. Let's really just build the community. But when I say that, just make sure this is going to be a positive place. And I'm not going to be the, unicorn, rainbow, sparkle, glitter, everything else, but it's going to be positive because, well, lack of a better thing, it's my show, and that's what we want to promote, and that's what we want to do. So let's share it, get it out to people. Again, we're always there for suggestions, recommendations. We want to be open, because I always say we when I say the TrailManners podcast, and if you know behind the scenes, it's kind of me sitting here mixing and all this other stuff. When I say we, I mean you. This is something I want to build. This is something that I want to have for everybody out there. Just something hopefully you look forward to, hoping that something's fun. but also knowing that, we do things our own way. We don't take ourselves too seriously. We absolutely love to have fun, and who knows how long we're going to be on this journey again. But I will think to myself that once this next round is over, we're probably going to mic drop and walk away, but I hope we last a while. Let's just say that. Long as the energy's there, long as the support and excitement, and long as people listen, we'll be putting them out there. But I cannot stress enough how excited I am for this. I hope you can hear that in my voice, but I also just can't thank people out there enough. And I know I haven't named people that have reached out to me about the show. Bryce, this is different people in the community as well. That's like, hey, are you going to bring the show back? When are you going to do this? And it's that's partly why, really. It's like, okay, there's people that do listen. I'm not going to sit here and talk to myself week after week, because I do that day after day, and gets creepy. But yeah, thank you so much for listening. If you're out there, please share this. Send us questions, send us feedback, whatever you want. Again, and who you want to hear, who you want to see on the show. We're always taking that. And then I'm going to leave this, and I know this is a little off. We have no, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't say sponsor, that seems silly, but we don't have a connection, maybe is the best way. But one thing I'm enjoying is Seven Hills Running in the Seattle area. I know we all have our local run shops or shops that we enjoy, but Seven Hills Running, if you follow them, especially on Instagram, man, they got all the new fresh gear, and they do to me, the best reviews, especially of shoes. They compare shoes that are very similar. I get nothing out of this, but it's just I really like what they're doing. I know what it's like to be on that side, so I'm sharing them, and maybe we'll have stuff, week after week or month that hey, check this out, because it's pretty cool. And we don't want anything from Seven Hills Running. We just say, great job. We love what you're doing. You have such an amazing community up there, I'm sure. And maybe I'm going to swing by when I head up to the U.S. Trail Running Conference and check it out. But I know there's a lot of shops like that out there. Fairhaven, I've been up there, in Bellingham. We have our local shops here, but support your local run shop when you can, because they're fantastic. And so that's just a quick shout out to Seven Hills Running. And if you're familiar with them, if you're up there, lucky you to have that in your community, because they do some cool stuff. So anyway, I don't want to keep everybody. This was just kind of a, hey, we're back, the Now Go Get It episode. We do have a podcast on the dock for next week. Obviously, we have Kirk as well coming back as another one when he's ready to talk about his 50-miler. But at the end of the day, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for the support. We are going to have a crazy fun year ahead of us for sure. And I can't wait to share that and share some stories with you. So thanks for listening. I'm Eric Manning. This is the TrailManners podcast, and I'm out.